Okay, so now I'm back, same date, March 28, 2020. Very tired. As you can see, it's only 8:39 in the morning. There's my bones. I brought them to a boil. I boiled them hard for a little while because I have to strain it, right, because of amari, right? So I'm going to just stew that for a little while longer, and then I'm going to strain it, and then I'm going to get on with making some chicken soup. But before I do that, I'm going to make one of those to start. And we know that I'm putting fruit in it. This can of peaches has been on my floor, people. Oh, look, do you see what I found? Powder milk. So I've got it right there. These peaches I bought years and years and years and years and years ago. I don't know how many years ago. Uncle John was around when I bought them, though. So I don't know. I'm going to open up the can and we'll look inside and see what state they're in. And if they're good, that's what I'm going to use. I have a can of black beans this size downstairs that I told my son I wanted to try and maybe make, what is it called? Burritos and whatever, and then freeze them. But anyway, I'm going to open up this can first. We'll see what we get here, and if this can is perfectly good, then we're going to be working with this can as we work with the yogurt. And because I've got so much milk, I also wanted to try and do a rice pudding. Make just a simple rice pudding with some raisins, and try freezing that as well, right? So hold on. Look at that. Look at the lid, people. Nothing. It's perfectly clean. Now, if this was a ketchup, you got to be careful when you buy a big can of ketchup. It's great to have and put it into other containers. But the difference between ketchup and peaches is that ketchup, tomatoes, with the vinegars is an acid which eats the can. So a can of ketchup this size wouldn't last as long as a can of peaches, or more than likely black beans. Okay, now obviously that's looking nice and clean. Let me smell it. Smells like peaches. Now I'm going to taste it. Yeah. It's in a light pear juice from concentrate. It's not even that sugary. So I'm going to take this now and I'm going to pour it in a bowl. Hold on. So that worked out really good. Only reason there's bubbles in it is because it irrigated itself. But outside of that, do you see how nice and clean it is inside? Okay. So this is perfectly fine. Now that's a lot of peaches that I have to work with for the day. So that's what I'm working with, people, is peaches. Okay. So hold on. Okay, so I got 8 cups of milk in the pot. With this batch, I'm going to try the gelatin. Okay, I have another box around here. I'm happy I bought it when I did. And a few other packets. But anyway, it says to start, right, pour your milk, into a double broiler. Oh, hold on a minute, people. It says double broiler. You know what a double broiler is, eh? I don't want to do a double broiler. No. Oh. Where's my double broiler? This is a lot of milk. This is a lot of milk. Hold on a minute, let me think. Okay, I am not getting stressed out, people. Serious. Do you see that? I used to have food storage in there, but I took everything out, and I basically, well, I still have some food storage in there, I'm pretty sure. But I basically have appliances, that kind of thing in there, right? I'm pretty sure that's where my double broiler is, but I don't think it's going to hold no more than 4 cups of milk. I'd be surprised if it holds 8. I'm thinking how I can make a double broiler with 2 pots together, which I might still have to, but I'm going to... See what I found? It's right there. Do you see what I did? Oh, I have all these beautiful cooking dishes for YouTube. Look at that. So nice. What else is in there? It's always like Christmas. Yeah, I took out all the food. Right. Oh, look at that, people. Okay, I don't know if I'm having a good day or a bad day. It's too early to tell. Anyway, all I could get in there but is 6. Mind you, I think I put in 9 cups here. I don't even know what I did, people. That's what I mean by a good day or a bad day. I'm not going to get 8 cups into that. I suppose I could try and create my own double broiler, which maybe I will. But for now, we've got the old granny, what is it called? Double broiler out here, which is in some ways kind of good because when you want to do tapioca pudding and that type of thing, this is what you want. But you had to see where I had to go get it because my cupboards are too small, right? Not that I'm complaining, I'm not, I'm just saying. So anyway, I'm going to remeasure this just to be sure before I start. Put the rest of the milk in here. I figure I can get 6 cups of yogurt in that, so I'll just break that recipe, 1.5, right? Should be easy to do. And then just, yeah, we'll try it that way, and then I'll go on to a different yogurt that you cook on the actual stove in a pot. Hold on. Okay, honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm pretty sure this is a Pyrex, and it can actually go on the burner itself. Okay, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't normally cook with that. It's been so long, I've forgotten. So, just to be safe, I'm going to try that. I don't think it's necessary, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to put that there. Okay. And then you bring up the heat slowly, but you have to keep doing this every now and then. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the water to a boil, and then we're going to turn it down to a low boil, and we're going to keep stirring until we get to that, 180? Is it? 180. Once we get to, no. Yeah, we bring it up to 180. We bring it up to 180, and then, and then we, turn it off. So you heat up the milk to 180 degrees Fahrenheit or 82 degrees Celsius. And then as soon as it gets up to 180, you don't want to go past 180 because once you get into 185, 190, you're going into pasteurizing. Remember? Okay? We don't want to pasteurize it because if we pasteurize it, then we kill those probiotics that are going to multiply through the fermenting stage. So just bring it up to 180, no more than that. Turn off your stove, maybe take that off the burner and put it on a cool burner so it doesn't continue to heat, right? So once this comes to 180, I'm just going to turn off the stove and put it on this burner. And then as soon as it's down to 118 degrees Fahrenheit or 48 degrees Fahrenheit, 48 degrees Celsius, which is 118 degrees Fahrenheit, that's when you put in your little yogurt packets of culture or other yogurt. And also too, with this, I can put in my gelatin, which I'm going to do. I'm going to do that right now. Because it says mix 2 teaspoons of gelatin for every 2 liters, but there's only 6 cups in there. So That's a teaspoon and a half. That's all I can make at a time. Is 6 cups. So we'll see what I got. So I want that in there. So before we start, see how the burner's on? This years and years and years and years and years and years of cooking, right? Oh. So you stir that in, and then you bring everything up to, what is it called? To that temperature, and then you turn it down. Right. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is not taking very long. I turned it down because now I'm thinking maybe it's going too fast. Okay, so doing it this way doesn't really take that long at all. I think I'm pretty much at my mark, because you're not supposed to go past. See, it's at the starter now. I'm going to turn this off. So it's time to add the starter in. And then mix it in. Now this is just some old yogurt that I have around. I'll put two scoops in there. Okay. And I'm pretty sure we're at the mark now, which was nothing really. This hasn't even been here for 10-15 minutes on 4. Now the other one recipe, I can use the pot. So you can see that I've stirred that around. Can't do what you can't do. You can't. That's the way right. And I'm going to take it off the burner because I just turned off the burner. And you don't want it to go past that line. You can see it's coming up, right?
Is that a change? We've acquired some. It's because we acquired.
Do you see how it's passing now?
No.
So I caught it just in time. Right? So the smart thing would be, I guess, you take it off the stove now. That's just water. Doesn't take no time at all. Okay? Now just let it cool for a few minutes. Okay? Now I'm going to boil some water, and I'm going to rinse that out with some water. But the thing is, when this curdles, right, I'm going to end up putting this into other containers, so I'm not too worried about it. But I'll clean it anyway, so hold on. Okay, people. I have to redo this, just to be on the safe side. Because, first of all, I'm using 2 different recipes with 2 different types of methods to do this stuff in. So, because I didn't use the candy thermometer to bring up the temperature to 180 degrees Fahrenheit, I just used this. Honestly, I don't know. So, just to be sure, because these 2 go together. This one goes with this one. This one is for that little machine. See what stress does? Is for this. Do you see? And these things go in a little thing that you plug in that provides some kind of heat. I don't know what kind of heat, but anyway, right? For those 10 to 12 hours. Where this one you only do for 5 hours, but maybe I didn't bring it up high enough. I don't know. So just to be sure, it's like if you were pressure... Now, it is warm in there. I can feel it. Honestly, maybe I should chance it. Maybe I should just leave this. Because as soon as I took off the lid, I could feel the moisture, and it's warm. So maybe I'll just leave that. And then the next batch I do for that particular container, which I should be able to use tomorrow. Or maybe even tonight, for that matter. Right? Because it's 5 hours, it goes till 3. Then it goes in the fridge. In 2 hours, you stir it. It should start curdling within 2 hours sitting there, but I've already released the warmness of it, right? So I may have screwed it up. Boy, I'm just having a great day. But by noon, maybe 12:30. At 12:30, I'll stir it, right? And then I'll put my vegetables or my fruit in, some of those peaches. No, that's not what you do. Yeah, in 2 hours. In 2 hours, stir the curd. Right? When am I supposed to add in the... I want extra powder milk. When was I supposed to add in extra powder milk? Where did I read that? You see, I'm going through two different things here. I want it richer. Well, I'm not going to hurt it by putting it back in there, bringing it up to 180. I'm going to stir in a half a cup of powder milk, or whatever it is, and then I'm going to put it back in there. Okay, you don't need to see me read. Hold on. Okay, so I put it back into the pot. You can see it's empty because I forgot to put in the powdered milk. And I'm trying to make this rich, rich, rich. So you put the powdered milk in when you're cooking it. And I'm going to use the candy thermometer on this one instead of using this one, because I'm using two different methods. So I'm going to put that in there. I already did the gelatin, right? So that's 6 cups of milk to 1.5 cup, 6 cups of milk to 1.5 teaspoons of gelatin. And then, if you were using 4 cups of milk, you would use a half a cup of, what is it called? This stuff, powder milk. But because I'm only using 6 cups, I'm going to just take a little less out of here and do, right, half of a quarter. Okay, and I'll put that in there. I'm going to there's my whisk, and then I'm going to stir it around. I'm going to heat it back up just to be sure. And I'm going to use, Andre, don't whistle, please. I'm talking. And I'm going to use my candy thermometer, and I'm going to bring it to 180, right? You go 5 more degrees, you're getting into your pasteurizing, and then that's when you're starting to kill off what you don't want to kill off, okay? So for what it's worth, I don't think I'm going to ruin this too much. And even if I do, people, and it doesn't set and it doesn't work, I can always take that milk tomorrow, and I can use it in food, right? I can use it in, we'll see where we're at. I can use it in either a pudding or, scalloped potatoes would be nice. Wouldn't that be nice? So I'm not losing doing it this way again, right? So once it reaches, what is it called? Once it reaches the 180, now this is where it's going to get funky. You take it off the stove and then you put it into some water to cool it down. And when it gets to, what was it? 80 something degrees? 118 degrees Fahrenheit? That's when you're supposed to put your starter in. So in light of that, maybe what I'll do is I'll just throw in a couple of extra scoops of that yogurt that I have. I'll do 2 and 3. I'll do 3 more. So it's getting kind of a double dose. But as I heat it up, I'm kind of destroying the enzymes. So just to be sure, right? Because what I'm going to do is when I bring it up to 180 on this, I'm going to see where it is on here. In terms of, does it go in between those 2 lines? Because if it does, then those 2 recipes are interchangeable. If it doesn't, and it surpasses and goes way up here, then we know that we can't interchange them the way I did it. initially. And that's why, just to be safe, I'm going to redo it again, even if I have to add in more yogurt, because I got lots of yogurt anyway, and that's old yogurt, so I don't even know if it's going to set. So we got a long way to go yet, right? It's only at 125. Ah, a long way to go. Okay, so I'll be back. Hold on. Oh, God. Who would have thought making yogurt would be so stressful when you're under quarantine? I'm glad I'm doing it again. Because I'm only a little past 125 now, pushing, right? Getting close to that 180. And when I put this in there, it's already past the add the starter. Do you hear that noise? I don't know why it's making noise. That's my burner. It's scaring me. That's what I mean by it. This is stressful. Right? I don't want my thing to break. That's why I put that thing on the bottom of it, right? Yeah, see, every time I do video, I have to turn that off to unplug it. So we're getting close. So yeah, I had to do it over again because I didn't do it right the first time. I put the yogurt in when the thermometer got to that point. But because it sits for 12 hours in that little heating thing, I think that's where the difference is, where this one sits for only 5 hours. So you kind of have to bring it up a little higher in regards to get that curdling process going. Right? So I'm just going to add in another big 3 heaping teaspoons, or that right there, into this. I'm trying to decide how to cool this glass, because technically you're not supposed to take hot glass and put it into cool liquid. So hot and cold cracks, right? Even if it's a plexiglass, it will crack. And not only will it crack, but it will shatter and fly. It can fly. You don't want to do that. So I don't know how that... You see I'm jumping here. I don't know what's making that noise. It's under my burner. I haven't used this... I don't know if I've ever used this, maybe once or twice. I've had it for a long time. This double broiler. Right? So, yeah, we're getting close now. Ooh. Look at my heart's going. Right? Maybe in about 5 more minutes. So, just a little more fickle than doing juice. Got my yogurt again. Hold on. Okay, so I've only got like a minute or so left for this. And because it's Pyrex glass, I can't put it in water, cold water. You can't take something hot that's Pyrex glass or any kind of baking dish or anything like that. Well, you can't take something hot and put it into something cold, because the two create a storm. Right? So what I'm going to do, which is going to happen here like in less than a minute more than likely, because I just move up the handle a little bit just to bring it up to that 190, and I'm at 175 now. Right? And I can tell you, I'm going to be way past this thing. So this is used for that other thing, right? So if you don't have that kind of particular machine, which you'll see, you're going to have to make your yogurt this way, okay? And the reason they put it in the double boiler is just so it heats up slow, right? That's all. It's not even boiling. The 190 doesn't boil, people. It's just getting ready to come to a boil. And we're not even going at 190. We're going to 180, which I'm going to be there like any second. Right? I'm like at 175. and my burner's on 5. And what I'm going to do is, as soon as I get into my 190 here, which I'm going to just turn up my burner a little higher because I don't want to stand here for too long, right? I only need to stand here for a few more minutes now that I've turned up, well, not even a minute, I don't think. Now that I've turned up my burner just a tad. And then, because I've only got like maybe 4 degrees to go, so I'm going to put it on 6. And I'm just going to bring it to that 190. Sorry, 180. And then I'm just going to take this double broiler off the burner. Because as soon as you turn off the heat, right? As soon as you turn off the heat, the temperature starts to drop. And you want to stir it because obviously there's more heat on the bottom than there is on top. So, and now I'm seeing a little scum of milk forming. So this is good. Right? This is how it's going to help to curdle it, right? So I'm glad I did. I'm glad I caught my mistake. Right? It's because I'm rushing and I'm having panic attacks. That's why. I'm having panic attacks doing this. Afraid. I'm afraid, people. I'm not afraid of the coronavirus. I'm not. I'm afraid of the city right now. AKA public union sector. That's what I'm afraid of. Okay. So we're almost there. Pretty close. Yeah. I don't want to have to do this again, so I'm just going to give it that extra little time. But yeah, no, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the city, people. I'm afraid what the public union sector is going to do next to me and my family. Right? Because it comes in waves. I've told you that before. You know, what's my reception going to be like when I go to the courthouse? Okay, I think we're there now. I think we are there now. Those little noises I was hearing was the water bubbling. Okay, now the water itself is bubbling on the bottom. You can see, right? It's at 190, but I can't put this in cold water. It will crack. So what you do, you just take it off the burner. Safety first. Maybe lift this out, being that water is boiling. Right? Oh, again, you got to be careful where you put this. Hold on. Andre?
What?
Nana needs your help. Look what I'm doing. You know I need help, Andre. I'm in a dilemma. Take the camera, quickly.
Wait, what?
Oh. I made a mistake. I'm going to put it there. There. Okay, you seen what I did. I took it out of the water, right, so it doesn't continue to heat this up. Okay? Now, I'm just going to let this cool until we get to what? 118 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so that's going to take a little while, but once it gets to 118 degrees Fahrenheit, then I put that in there. But I bet you if I put this in here, it's going to rise rapidly and go surpass the line. Do you see how it's surpassing? So, I'm glad I caught my mistake. Hold on. Okay, people, so anyway, we're just taking a little interlude on this one here. I'm going to be blocking this person as soon as I'm done reading this. Anyway, it came in 3 hours ago. You can see that. And it says, because what's happening here is I'm getting gang stalked on Truth Reality's YouTube channel. Well, actually, he's being spammed by Julian's sister and her friend. Anyway, this person says, I saw that video where Julian was counting the drug money. Hold on a minute. Okay, so I guess, anyway, they must have been listening to my last video. But, like I said, Julian's sister is roaming the internet, following me around. And, anyway, here we go. Okay. I saw that video where Julian was counting the money on Shimei's bed, but you failed to say that Shimei was excited and asking him how well he did while he was counting his money. First of all, I've got more than one video. I only posted one. I think there's like 3 of them. But it gets the point across. And the reason that Shimei was recording that, because she was just, getting a little backup plan just in case something, needed to be dealt with. When she was going to go to court and ask the judge to put Amari's, Chorney on Amari's birth certificate, she was going to hand over that little video among a few other little videos that she got, because she knew that she was somehow, some way dealing with a fucking snake. Okay? When I told her to calm down, you don't need to be running off to court with all these little videos. Just go to court, put the application in, see how it goes. But you see, Julian didn't want Shimei to have Amari. That's the thing. I think Julian just knocked up Shimei so that he'd go on welfare. That's why Shimei's dead. Because he thought he could come by the next day and get the baby, go on welfare, have his sister look after the baby, because it was obvious Julian was incapable of looking after that baby by himself, right? on the day Shimei died, I don't know what this has to do with yogurt, but on the day Shimei died, April 11th, in the basement, right? Nobody really knew what was going on. Amari was in the bedroom, and being that Daddy wanted to be Daddy, Tisha said, well, can you get Amari dressed? Because, they were going to go to the hospital and bring Amari up to me, right? And so she asked Julian to change Amari before he was brought upstairs to me. Apparently, all he did was put on a pair of shorts and a little t-shirt, people. And it was like April 11th. It's cold, right? Point is, Julian would not have been capable of looking after Amari by himself. But you see, Tamika can't have her own kids for whatever reason. So, she needling in Julian's ear to go get the baby. That's why when Shimei was at Julian's mother's house for those 2 days, and as Julian was pushing on Shimei, where we actually have now a picture where there's bruises on her body after she came back from that place, Julian's sister was taking that opportunity as Shimei was being pushed on and manhandled by Julian, right, 5 days after she had a C-section, to beeline out of the house with the baby. So Tamika's had it in her head ever since long before Amari was born to try and take Amari. That's why she's obsessed with it. And as for these little videos with Shimei being excited, no, Shimei was not excited. Yeah, excited to get the evidence so that if she needed it, she had it. That's what that was for, people. Trust me, that's what that was for, because that is what Shimei was going to use it for. Okay. And then this person, which is probably Julian's sister or that homie Hopper, right? And Shimei's house, as you called it, well, yeah, whatever. That was after she died, people. The people in the house, when Shimei died, wanted to call it Shimei's house. Okay? It was never Shimei's house, but when Shimei was murdered, and they all found out about it before the mutiny kicked in, right? What do you call it? That's what they were wanting to call it. Anyway, and Shimei's house, as you call it, no, I didn't call it that. That's what the residents at that time, when Shimei died, wanted to call it, in memory of Shimei, right? Where you were housing all the junkies from Wally Street. Well, it was better than living out on the street in tents in the middle of winter, because we got that house in the first part of January, right, which is the heart of winter. So, and in those days, everybody was sleeping out in the streets in tents, if they had a tent. Was a little greenhouse. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, because that's where Shimei was harvesting your drug money. Well, first of all, I didn't get no drug money, and I went into the hole for that place, people. I went into debt. I mean, running a house like that is not easy, okay? Because everybody came in with game, right? And they played the landlord, right? They wanted startup house fees, right? Startup costs, so I wrote it down in the books as house startup, right? Everybody wanted money, but nobody wanted to pay, okay? Especially near the end, when it was time to leave, they just stopped paying the landlord for the last 3 months. 2 months or whatever it was. Right? Because they knew the game was over with the place, but they always knew that anyway. That's why the mutiny kicked in. Right? As soon as Ray got out of jail, everything was cool until Ray went to jail. And then when Ray went to jail, Ray was somebody that was living in that house that was trying to keep an eye on things, I guess you could say, because, you know, a lot of homeless people went through there. Over 200 homeless people went through that place over that period of almost a year, right? And a lot of people took showers that had no place to take showers. A lot of people cooked meals that had no place to have a hot meal. A lot of people fucking slept there, people that had no place to sleep. Okay, because of the housing crises out here. So, no regrets. No regrets. The only thing is, when Ray got back, right, out of jail, I don't know. He didn't have, you know, it just, I don't know. It just went into a mutiny. Right? So, and because I was by myself, right, and they knew they were coming to the end, they just wanted to do what they wanted to do. And at the end of the day, though, I was the last person with the key. I was the last person. You seen me on that roof of that house, right? And I'm still dealing with the vinyl. So anyway, I'm not too worried about this, but I am going to delete it, and I'm not even going to post it, because first of all, it's just a distraction away from what Julian did to Shimei, right? And any videos with her, trust me, like I said, she was going to take it to court, okay? She was going to take it to court and show the judge exactly what he was about, because he refused to put, he refused to sign the federal forms to have Shimei put her last name on the birth certificate, because when they took her to his mother's house, right, they convinced her that she needed to fill out the birth certificate, even though I told her to wait, do it by hand, right? No. They did it online. Then they picked a fucking fight. When she turned her head, they pushed the fucking button after they removed her name off of that upload. And that's why she had to take it to court. I have the papers here. So when I go to court, that will be one of the things that will be done. And if I have to, I'll show the judge what Julian was really all about, because I have the proof. So, as you can see, very easy for people just to come in with their fake little user accounts, multiple Freddy accounts. Alright, that's all this is, just a multiple Freddy account. Okay? Seriously, so tired of this shit. You think they'd get tired? Like, go get a hobby or something, right? Seriously, man. Okay, so back to your regular scheduled programming. As I'm reading this one, which I'm going to get into now, right? You know, it's talking about you got to have unpasteurized yogurt. But if you have unpasteurized milk, you have to pasteurize it. Anyway, our milks are pasteurized, so I'm not worried about that. Although I can't tell if this is pasteurized or not, but here it says, you know, and it's not like I can go to the grocery store, right? But here it says, ingredients, organic skim milk, right? No preservatives. I don't know. 100% natural, plain. No gelatin in this one. I would think this would be fine. Okay. This one here, it says on the package, it says here, active bacterial culture, including probiotic culture, right? But this is a little older one, so, but that's all I have. So if none of this works, okay, I'm just going to take the milk and probably just try and make maybe a pudding or something and then do it that way. But let's see about this one. Now this one was due for February 27th, but it's never been opened, so it'll be perfectly fine. No preservatives. Bacterial cultures. So this has what I need in here. We can try this one because it hasn't been opened. It's going to be fresher than this one. Okay. So I'm now looking for a spoon. Oh man. So take off the lid. Looking pretty good. And because it has no gelatin in it, it has a bit of that liquid in there, right? That's what the gelatin's for. So we're just going to stir this around. And this is what I'm going to use to start another batch, because this is nice and fresh. So I would assume that this one's going to work really, really well. Right? Oh yeah, this is good. So I'm going to put the lid back on. I'm going to put this in the fridge for now. I like this one better in terms of taste, but that's okay. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to do a double batch in my pot, because doing it this way with those little machines, you have to cook it in a pot. Boy, this is taking a long time just to make yogurt, eh? And we don't even know what the results are going to be yet. Okay, so I have, you can see, 2. I have another one, plus I have an extra set of those. So as I make, they can go directly into the freezer, right? And then I've got other machines similar to this, but different shapes, right? Okay, so I'm going to call it a day on this video here. We've got this sitting here in this big thing, until about 5:30. And then what I'm going to do, what am I going to do? I'm going to stir it around, right? Make it creamy. And I'm going to drain some of those peaches, right? And then I am going to, I don't know if I should be putting them in the containers and then in the fridge, or if I should just be stirring this thing around and then putting this thing in the fridge. Right? So maybe I'll do that, but it says you can put all the fruit, everything that you want into this and then put it in the fridge and then let it sit. I think that's what I'm going to do, and then when I'm ready tomorrow, because I'm getting tired, people, I'm worn out. Okay? That's when I'll take that out of the fridge and transport them into those little containers, and then I'm going to freeze them as is like that. And then when I get up in the morning, because in this tray, and all those little granny recipes, they came in the box with this. I remember now. I have the box over there that I put my jars in. This I have someplace else. But they all came with this little thing. And these things are like fairly old, right? You can't find these anymore, right? So I've washed everything. But because they sit for 10 hours, I don't want to be running around dealing with yogurt at freaking midnight. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait till morning to start the next 2 batches for sure. I'm going to try to do 2 more batches for sure. And then because I have more of these jars,
where we were talking about how sometimes people don't get to see the troops in our own backyard helping folks as they need it. And
I have more of these.
Community here in the state of Washington and certainly in the 7th
Nice.
District. On behalf of my colleague, Dr.
Maybe I'll
Ciera,
attempt to make
Congresswoman Schreier,
rice pudding with raisins.
our senators and our
And then
entire
after it's
federal
cooked,
delegation, we have
I'll
been
fill up
pushing
these and then I'll
very,
freeze
hard
these.
to make sure that the federal government
Right.
uses every tool in its toolbox and actually provides a
When you have lots of
response
kids,
that matches the
you know,
scale
they're
of the
sloppy, right?
crisis. And
They
so
lose
in
the
this
lids
last
and stuff,
package
eh?
that we just passed,
Or Uncle John would
yesterday,
wash
we
the
have
dishes and
$2.3
throw out the lid.
trillion that will flow from the federal government. We understand
So anyway,
that is
that's
not
what I'll do. I'll
enough,
probably
and we
make
are
rice pudding
on the
tomorrow,
next package.
and
But I did want to say
at
in
least
that package,
at
there's
least 10 of
$45
these.
billion
That's 2 batches of
additional
yogurt, and I'll
aid
do that in the morning,
and we know that's not
because it
enough,
has
but
to sit on that thing for 10 hours.
facilitate a
Right? I've got it all ready here. I've got this ready here. I may go downstairs and grab 1 bag of carrots because my candy lemon peels are almost done. So maybe instead of making yogurt, I'll just shred carrots and get them ready so that when the candy, what is it called? See, I'm too tired. When the candy lemon peels are done, then I can just throw in the carrots, and if need be, I can always move that dehydrator maybe someplace else. Or this is pretty straightforward. I can find someplace for this to put for 10 hours, but I'm not doing these till the morning. So if I start like at 7, 8, 9, then that's good because then I have energy around 5 to put them away, right? Because as soon as they're done, they go in the fridge for a little while, cool them down, and then they're basically going in the freezer. And then at some point, I'm going to do the rice pudding with the raisins, more than likely. Because I've got these jugs of milk, right? Because we're under mass hypnosis right now. So, you know, if I do this, then I have those, and Mari, like when we went to the, what is it called?
Of unemployment insurance in decades. And we allow for a new pot of money
to the dietitian, right? She, you know, recommended the sour cream and the yogurts and those types of things. If that types of stuff dry up over the next month or 2 because of this shit that's going on, right? Because I don't think we're all getting I don't think we're getting all the information here, people. I think I think we're dealing with a bunch of rogue governments right now that are trying to bring in one world order, right? And they're scaring the pants off of people so that they can bring in their forced vaccinations, and they're going to try and remove cash from society. They're going to try and chip us. They're going to try and do all this shit, right? Just because they're control freaks, right? And they want to manufacture poverty. That's what they want to do. They want it on a larger scale so that the ones that really hoard the money can get richer, right? Do their science experiments on dead bodies in hospitals as they make taxpayers pay for it, right? You know, just a lot of morbid shit going on right now, people. So I'm going to upload this video. And as for that little house over there, it started off on the right foot. I was there to the bitter end. 2 times I got poked with needles cleaning up the garbage in that place. Or was it 3 times? It was 2 or 3 times. I know it was 2 times for sure. Right? You know, cleaning up sick people's garbage. Right? They put me through hell and back with their mutiny. Right? But, you know, at the end of the day, that place housed at some point 200 people, okay? Whether they went in and had a hot meal, whether they went in and had a shower, regardless of whether they had to pay for the shower, because at one point, the people that took over the mutiny, that's what they were doing. But the point is, people had access to a shower. It wasn't easy because everybody was running game, right? Running game, a lot of running game on me. I mean, obviously I was just one person, easy to take advantage of, right? And then, you know, it kind of turned into a shack towards the end, which it is what it is. And when I asked the landlord, you know, what I should do about it, you know, do you want to help me to do something about it? He said, just let it run its course. That's what he told me, people. Let it run its course, because the house was coming down anyway. And he didn't want to deal with the stress, with the dysfunction of people being in a dilemma, basically struggling with addiction. And pretty much almost everybody, not everybody, but quite a few of those people were ending up homeless as they left that house. And considering how many people that went through that house and found a little bit of refuge, well, no regrets. I have no regrets. It taught me a lot. Would I do it again on my own? No, because I'm too easy of a pushover, right? I need reliable house. I don't like to call them house monitors, but that's basically what you need. You know, out here with the recovery houses, you know, it's not good. It's not good for a lot of these people, because they move in, they get kicked out. That's what was happening over at the little house after they kicked me out, I guess you could say, with their mutiny. They were renting a room or whatever, taking the money and then kicking out the people, and then the people would come to me and I'd be like, well, I can't do anything about it because I've been kicked out, right? So I don't know. I don't walk in their shoes, right? I help where I can help, and that's what the purpose of that was. If it was anybody's house, it was Ciera's house. Only when they wanted to call it Ciera's house, I said, no, it's not Ciera's house, right? This is like everybody's house. It's, you know, we're going to make it work. But when Shimei died, everybody was up in arms because she had been hot capped. And everybody in that freaking house knew what hot capped meant. Okay? So they were choked. They were choked.
Good news for you. We're working together.
And that's why they wanted to name it Shimei's house.
By the way, I forgot to state
right? Because she didn't deserve that. Because first of all, she wasn't even an addict. Right? She went to the house to tell the people to take advantage in a good way the opportunity that they had with that little house to get better. I don't even want to say clean up their act, but just get better, right? She went there, told people, look, my mom's going out of her way, sticking out her neck for you. Just try hard to get better. And that's why they wanted to dub it Shimei's house after Shimei was murdered.
Army here today The US
right?
Army Corps of
And then,
Engineers
I don't know,
Department.
you know, the clock was ticking, the house was coming near an end, people were stressing out. This place got fucking raided by the cops, right? You know, landlord was shutting down that house, landlord shutting down that house, landlord shutting down that house. There are no houses to rent. How can you expect people to get better when there's no housing, no stable housing, no stable support systems? So everybody crashed, went back to their old ways. I used to walk into that house, people, and these people would literally be hibernating in their bloody bedrooms, as if they were still sleeping in a tent. They were so traumatized from being out on the streets. I'd be like, why are you hiding out in your bedroom? You need to come out and socialize. But you see, the thing is, I don't want to say two different gangs, but basically I had two different gangs in there that didn't necessarily get along, but in that house, they did. They did get along. And not only did they get along, but the people over there, right, because, you know, they're addicts, so they all know each other. Doesn't mean they like each other, but for the time that that little house was going, there was no beefs going on. Nothing major. What happened to Wesley being kicked down at the freaking gas station? It wasn't even the right Wesley that got kicked down, from my understanding, in terms of Wesley died, right? Well, it wasn't even the right guy. That whoever jumped him, they jumped the wrong guy. Had nothing to do with the houses. It had nothing to do with the different people with their different cliques, right? Everybody got along. It's just the end was coming to the end. And, you know, when you've got nothing to lose, people, how can you expect people to change? Right? So, there you go. I'm done for the day. Listening to this rhetoric. I'm serious. This is the military-industrial complex coming in with the big guns and terrorizing the general population so that we become just a bunch of wuss.
I think it will.
See?
I expect
Everywhere
it
you
won't.
go.
And if it happens,
It's
we'll
all
engage the entire
this
nation,
stuff.
including my Republican governors, to say that.
Now this is Washington State Gov.
Your second question is,
right?
and by the way, I've not heard any indication of that in the last day and a half from anyone in the state of Washington.
Thank you. We saw your guidance this morning on funeral services, that now funeral services will be allowed at gravesides or in funeral homes when only immediate family members are involved in practicing social distancing. Why did you decide to make that adjustment?
Well, frankly, thank you, Mayor.
Because people have a right to witness what's happening to their loved ones.
Listen, we're going to have a lot of changes to these orders as time goes on. This is just one of, I think, and who knows, we'll be flexible throughout this system as we hear from citizens. And what I heard was some, heart-wrenching stories in the last 24 hours of people who'd lost loved ones and just could not stand the thought to not be present there.
Exactly.
We had a senator from Yakima, Jim Huntingford, who told me a story that was really heart-wrenching, and that affected our decision. But as you know, there are many, many difficult decisions we're going to have to make. And I do encourage people in all circumstances,
they're treating
limit the number of people who have to go
like
to
they have the
a funeral.
blue
Make sure you use social distancing.
Bubonic plague.
We don't need any more funerals in the state of Washington.
Like the Black Plague, right?
Just a couple of quick questions. Yeah. Firstly, there was a study that came out of the University of Washington this week that looked at the projections moving forward, the trajectory, saying that we could have, if we kept all of the current social distancing in place through, I believe, June, we'd have 1,400 deaths here in the state of Washington. Is that informing anything that you're deciding moving forward? Should people be prepared to
City of Seattle
things as they are until that?
That's
June
like a 5-hour drive for me.
The question was,
5 hours, people.
Should we be prepared to have what is in place today in June? And the answer is, I believe it is highly likely that some version of the stay home, stay healthy initiative will need to continue past that initial 2-week period. What that is something that will be judged by
We're
That
in
study that you
April.
alluded to, and probably two
That's
dozen
2.5 months away.
So people need to know that every day we look at multiple data points that come in from the epidemiology labs or analysis. We look at the percentage of positive tests. We look at the hospitalizations for those with COVID-like symptoms. We look at the traffic patterns
Positive
to determine
test doesn't
whether or
mean
not people
positive
are staying
death.
at home as they should. We look at telecommunications traffic to see what is happening. So yes, that is one of the things that we put
We're
into
being
the
lied
analysis,
to,
and
people.
that
There's
issue
too
is
many
going to
governors, premiers, presidents, prime
I
ministers,
dearly wish that I could tell people
doctors.
today
You know, there's just
that
too many of the
COVID-19 will be gone
same
from the state of
kind of
Washington.
people
But there's
talking
one thing I know
about the
about that
same
date.
kind of shit.
The more people bend to this task, the more people consider they're with the 627th from Colorado, the sooner that day will come. And I cannot be more sincere in asking people to really think in their personal lives what they can do to be part of this effort. I had to come up here today on I-5, and frankly, there are way too many cars on I-5 today. I do not believe we are doing what we need to do. So the more people will do voluntarily, the less we will have to do from orders.
There you
so I
go.
hope people work together.
One last question.
The
There's
less we
growing
have to
calls
do
for a rent freeze while the duration of this plays out and the outbreak, as well as mortgage forbearance. Is that anything that you're considering?
Well, yes. The question was about evictions and mortgage forbearance. We've done the evictions. We will continue to consider other measures.
I need to ask more on that. So you have not then come up with a policy saying people should not be evicted and that there should be forbearance for their mortgage?
I believe we have. And so if that is incorrect, I will get some information to you. The question was about evictions, and so I'll get the latest information to you.
I'd like to ask another question, Governor, about this space. Oh, okay, that's fine.
I'll get back to you.
Okay, I can do that.
We're going to go to the phone. The first question is for
Every
Amy
governor
Marino.
is popular now.
Governor Amy Marino, King 5 News. President Trump has talked about quarantining some hot spots and cutting off travel. He mentioned more specifically New York, which Governor Cuomo seemed to balk at. How would you feel about quarantining Washington as a hot spot? And Governor Cuomo seemed to think it wasn't really enforceable.
Why isn't
How
this
would
guy
you feel
getting
about that? Have you had any
coronavirus,
discussions with the president about that?
stuffed into some room, left by
question was,
himself,
have we had any
so his
discussions
family
about
members
quarantining
can't
the
come
state
see him,
or parts
being
of the
tortured
state? The
by
answer is we have
fucking
not.
so-called
But let me just say at
Lucy's,
the outset,
right? Have Dr.
we
Gould
should be
come in
making
and
these decisions
poke
about
here
our
and
travel
poke
decisions
there,
today. We
and
don't
then he
need
can die
any
all by
political
himself,
leader. I'm
a
just calling
miserable
on
old
fathers and
man,
mothers and
as nobody
young people
allowed
to make
is
their
to
own
see
decisions, which
all
means we need
the
to
injuries
reduce
on his
travel
body after being
dramatically
locked up
in
in
the next several
freaking
days.
detention,
That's the first thing I will say.
basically,
But in
right?
answer to your
And they're
specific
not going to
question,
give
we
him
have
any
not had
opiate because
discussions
they're not
with
going to
the
want
White
to
House,
spend no money.
nor
So they're just going to
internally
make
about
sure
the
that he
possibility
suffers right to the bitter
of that.
end all by
But
himself.
as I have said
Doctors
and
just
will
going to walk
quite a
on
number
by
of
because,
times,
illegal
these
organ
are
harvesting is
decisions made
illegal
on
organ
the-
harvesting,
on the- what will happen
and,
in
he
the
got what
future,
he wanted,
which we cannot
right?
predict.
And then when
And
he
we will make
dies,
decisions
they're going to want to
to
cover
be
it
as
up,
confident as we
right?
can
And so they're going
that
to
we
ship
can
off his
save the people
body
we love, and
and
that's what we're doing
fucking
today.
burn it and then tell his family to fuck off.
Next question is for
Are you
Deborah
listening,
Long,
people?
KOW.
What if it was this dude? Do we honestly think this dude is going to be treated
KOW,
like that?
are you there? Did you mute yourself?
Is he honestly going to be treated like that? What's the probability of him being treated
let's
like
go to the next
everybody else? Pretty
Next
low.
question is for Ciera Sidner. That's CNN. 1 second, Sarah.
Just wasting
Go ahead.
time.
Hi, Governor. Thank you for letting us
Bankrupting
ask
everybody.
questions at this
Manufactured
time. I know
poverty
you're doing a
people.
lot of work for the state. My question to you is twofold. One, can you give us a sense of where we are now? Are we starting to see a surge again as the numbers did start to come down of those contracting the virus, the rate of the folks contracting the virus?
These
and
guys,
also,
they don't even
if
know
you
what the
could
fuck they're
speak
dealing
to,
with.
exactly when you think.
And we don't know if these people are really dying from the virus, people. I told you, they shut off the water with Joan and they took her fucking body and then they took her money.
Could you just tell us what the plan
right?
for standing up?
Uncle John, they just fed him dope, make him pass out,
So,
put him in the bowels of the ferry, shipped him over on the boat.
We actually have planners.
Right?
You can see them in
put
our
him into
background.
the
They're
freaking
actually doing their
emergency
work already.
ward there
And
at
we'll be
the
ready
Victoria
tomorrow
General
to start
Hospital.
moving
Right?
equipment into
Used
here. And it will
hundreds
take
of
just a
thousands
few
of
days
dollars
before we're
of
ready to see the
taxpayers'
first
dollars
patients.
to house him as they took his money. Shmay. They didn't do their job with Shmay either.
General Cherry, one
They
more
just
question.
took her
So
dead
the
body,
room we're
took her
in
organs,
is going to
and then
be
took the
field
money.
hospital.
Correct. You will see that transform over the next week from this amazing facility that's here now into a world-class hospital.
But you won't see the people inside. You won't be able to hear them talk.
Yes, with
You
bed
won't be able to
stations,
see them
all of that.
struggling to
Yes.
breathe because they're not showing you that part. They'll just show you the setup and some mannequin in a bed. How do we know it's a real human being in that bed? They don't show their
do we have another
faces.
question?
They don't
Next
let them
question
talk.
For
Nothing.
Kevin Schofield, SEC Insight.
Thank you. This is for the governor and for King County Executive. Can you give us some more specific numbers on the percentage of hospital beds, CU beds, that are now full today in King County and Washington State, so we have a sense of how close we are to meeting the surge capacity?
Do I try that in?
I would have to. Thanks for the question.
Look, walk
the question
right by
is,
him. Right
can I
by
give you
him.
the exact
You're
percentage of the
breathing. How
beds
come
of
these guys
hospitals
aren't
that are
getting
full
it?
now?
Huh?
We're getting anecdotal reports of hospitals that are seeing considerably higher than normal admissions.
And if they
but not,
do, very few die.
Overwhelming yet.
Right.
I'm not able to give you exact numbers. We'd have to have our public health folks provide those to you. I will say
they're falsifying
it's
medical
very concerning
records.
because
They falsified
the hospitals
Shmai's
often
medical records,
operate at
people.
fairly high capacity
They falsified
already, so
Uncle
there might be
John's medical
folks who
records, people.
previously would have
They
been
falsified
in the hospital
Amari's medical
with other
records
conditions
when he was
who will
born,
need to be,
people.
discharged to facilities outside of hospital, whether it's in a fully equipped medical center like this or in one of our centers that we're standing up around the county. We will get you those numbers, but even, the issue is this. We have the imperative of driving down that rate of infection. And
so every time we get a cold, we're going to get locked up like criminals? Is that it?
Many tests or fewer tests, the rate of positives has hovered right around 7% the whole time. I'd be very concerned if I saw the rate of infection within any sample of those tests suddenly jump up. We are not seeing that. That gives me some tentative confidence that the measures that the governor's put in place that our population has embraced, that those measures are working.
This is an
But second, we
alien
have to keep
invasion.
pushing to create this.
We'll have to give you the
Prison
questions
labor.
about the prisoners who are making the hospital gowns.
Prison
I really
labor.
don't have the specifics on any of those. I will get to that to you as fast as I can.
Yeah.
I will comment
Death
that
camp.
I'm told
Slave
that
labor.
the prisoners are very eager for this job.
Oh, yeah.
And we're eager for their
Oh, yeah.
success in this regard. By the way, I want to comment
So it makes it
on
okay
the,
to exploit
health
prisoners.
issues in our prisons. We, of course, have a commitment to reducing to the extent humanly possible the risk of infection in our prison system. I've had at least 2 briefings in the last week about this issue, and I can tell folks that there is about as good of a screening system to keep COVID out of our prison system of anywhere in the United States, probably.
Oh,
and there is a plan to, in a sense, isolate prisoners within the facility in the event that the COVID gets into any of our facilities. We take this very seriously.
Oh, and it's not there yet. It's everywhere
we look
else,
forward to
but it's not in
keeping these
prison. Like, come on,
incarcerated individuals
people.
as safe as humanly possible.
We've got like stupid
Last
written
question,
on our
we'll go back to Deborah
foreheads.
Wong if you're on there.
The virus is everywhere else
Deborah?
except for prison. So therefore, they're going to go put the prisoners to work because they're happy little
Deborah, may I
fucking
take
slaves.
Sure, we'll take another Deborah. We got another
Right?
Deborah here.
Go put the prisoners to work because they're happy little slaves, and not one is sick.
As the general,
But everybody else is.
that is and maybe all of you can answer this. So I saw someone break his wrist last week outside of my place. I don't live that far from here. Is that the kind of person who would come here, or who would end up here?
Yeah,
do you know? Someone
really.
who's in the hospital now but won't have COVID-19 and needs a little more care. Someone who's just hurt suddenly needs care. Who will come here?
Yes, so I'll probably actually have to turn the details of that question over to someone else. All of those are the types of patients we can handle, but who comes here will be a policy issue that we won't make. So I'm not sure who can answer. Can you answer that, sir? Ma'am? Thank you.
Yeah. So this hospital is going to be a full working hospital, and it's going to have everything from pharmacists to surgeons and the like. It is for non-COVID patients. Chief Scoggins has been working with our hospital system here to make sure that at the state level and the county level this is fully integrated with our systems. We know that many of our hospitals right now are getting overtaxed by COVID, and we know that's going to be worse. We want to make sure that we can offload those patients to a hospital setting that's going to be safe and efficient for them.
Hysteria.
And so the goal of this hospital is to stand up that capacity. Those people will be transported like most people are, either by ambulance or fire medic.
Okay, we're dealing with the Black Plague here, people. The way these people are going on about
the World Health Organization issued a report and said the most important thing that governments can do in communicating to the public
this is the Black Plague. This is something else.
And I couldn't be more grateful
what they're saying,
as Mayor of Seattle to be
what they're saying is true. But if you notice, watch them walk by back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth from each other. But look how they're standing socially distanced away from each other. They're 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet,
every firefighter and every frontline hospital worker to the people standing here
but
today,
yet they're walking
that we are
right
speaking with
beside
one
each other,
voice
people.
for the public to know that there is going to be true leadership. And our goal is to make sure that we protect the lives of everyone in Seattle, in the region, in Washington State.
They want you standing by yourself so that you can't fight back.
So this hospital means
this is
that
conquer and divide.
Shortly, we're going to need that capacity. And we can't wait until we're in the middle of the emergency.
This is an alien race
so again,
taking
I
over.
want to thank the governor for your leadership, Congressman
Or this is the Black Plague, and they're just not telling us.
Has been just a tremendous partner.
But if you notice, they're not that scared because they're walking right by, back and forth between themselves.
It's not. It is real human lives that are impacted. Every one of those people sick.
Uncle John was a real human life, and these people are psychopaths because they wouldn't give a shit about Uncle John because it's these types of people that did what they did to Uncle John.
Who are tired and exhausted.
Same thing with Shimei.
Basic personal protection equipment.
Same thing with Amari when he was injured at birth. And then they did not do the MRI so that they could cover their ass, and then they falsified their fucking medical records.
We will stand together. As a region, we will stand together. And as a city, we will stand together. Stay home. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. And please,
now don't touch your face.
Physical distance, but stay connected socially. Thank you for that, Congressman.
So much rhetoric. Okay, that one. Well, he just went into her breathing space. She was just there talking by the mic, so any germs that are in her fucking mouth are all there, people. They're on the podium. They're on the mic. They're floating around in the air.
And before you start your car, look at that nurse and say, do I really want to put this person at risk?
You know what? I don't give a fuck about Lucy's. Okay, I think the Lucy's need to go in the graves, in the coffins from where they came from.
Thanks to everybody.